And welcome to the High Gun Podcast with your host, the High Gun. First, like, subscribe, share. How y'all doing, y'all? So usually I wouldn't come on a Tuesday. Like I wouldn't, because I only watch NXT. But enough stuff happened on NXT for me to talk about it, and I probably won't be on tomorrow. Because usually I come on Wednesday, but I can talk about NXT and AEW at the same time. So what I'm probably gonna do is talk. What I'm probably gonna do is take off Wednesday and come on here Thursday and talk about uh, AEW. Unless AEW do some good stuff tomorrow. I just come on Wednesday and see if I can. And then Thursday won't be a thing. And then Friday, I come on Friday. But so let's talk about it, yeah. Let's talk about it. So NXT. So the first thing NXT did that was newsworthy is NXT. All their pay-per-views are now on the CW network. That's true. For those who don't got CW, then okay, but VPN. Oh, well then this morning we found out that CW Sports is uh, in cahoots, buddy. You know, what they're good. They're linked together now. So if you got ESPN Plus, you know, then you can watch the pay per views for CW. Yeah, for CW and NXT and stuff. You know, so yeah, that's more money for them. You know, but yeah. But see, uh, CW was worried about the call ups that happened. So much that they didn't want them to call up Ricky Saint because they wanted some sort of veteran presence on the main roster. I mean, like on that roster, because even though NXT is a de- developmental program, it's the last. It's the last of it now because now you have uh, other steps before you go to NXT now. All right, so even though it's the last step to development for NXT, you know, it's still a development system. Now they tried to make that different back in the day, but it didn't work because Vince, you know. But uh, yeah, the TV deal. Is it? It's had a TV deal for a minute now. Because when it was black and gold, and they was trying to make it different and make it a third brand, didn't happen because of Vince. I'm quite sure if they would have just kept with it, it would have became a third brand. You know, like it would have. And if this NXT can beat AEW, well, I can go definitely gonna be the AEW if they just would have stuck with it, you know. But nonetheless, here we are. So saying that, saying that, what ended up happening, what ended up happening is last night we had a bunch of debuts. Now I'm not gonna name all these people because I don't know all these people like that. But Lin- Lindsay Rivers debut. Now I knew about her for like a couple months now. I still haven't heard anything about Nikki Blackheart yet. I mean, they say she signed with she signed with WWE. But anytime they have new signings and everything, you don't hear nothing about her. Now I know she has to finish up some stuff uh, that she got going on and other promotions and everything. But I'm ready for her. Dominican hiding. Trust and believe. Like I'm a fan. I'm a fan. You know, but she she they have but Lindsay Rivers debuted last night against Nikki um, Lionheart. And you know some people have a problem with Nikki. You know, and and I don't. Nah, I keep quiet about that because of the fact that some people don't feel how the way they feel about her in the first place. Alright, and how she still has a job, and how she hasn't been fired, and she's probably fucking somebody in the back, because she still has a job and everything. No, now, some of this what I'm about to say, uh, is fucked up, you know, because some people get injured and don't and get released then. You know, there's been a couple people. Matter of fact, it happened. It happened this year with like it happened this year with last year with releases. Even though they were hurt, they still got released. Now saying that, Nikki has had two ACL joint tears. Okay, two, and separate knees. Okay, and she came back from it. Now, she's in the best shape she's ever been in right now. Did she job last night? Yeah, she jobbed last night. Like for sure, she jobbed last night. Ain't no way around it. She jobbed last night. Like as soon as her music hit, at least they gave you know what? At least they gave her an entrance last night. All right, and she came out last. All right, uh, and they even give her a promo, but she still dropped. Now, here's the thing, she's on NXT right now. Now she's also on that LGF program, but how they so if you just see her there, he was like, oh man, she got promoted again, downgraded again. No, but they already told you why she's there. All right, around this time, she was hurt. Oh well, not hurt. Around this time, she was just coming back from an injury. All right, and that's how they did it. Now is she getting help to get better? Yeah, she is. Doesn't mean it's bad that she's getting help. And like I said, she's in the best shape she's ever been in right now. But you know, you just got some people who just don't like her, right? Who just don't like her and hate on her just to hate on her. Now, I don't say anything because of the fact that I got a pattern of who I like. You know, like so back in the day, I liked the Ziggler and I liked the Mandy Rose and I like Nikki. So now there's a pattern with that, right? Right. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But you had more debuts. You had the former. You had the former New Japan Heavyweight Champion Evil debut last night, which even though it was already rumored months ago that he was something in the WWE, right? And that the E wanted him to what's the word? Um they wanted him to debut on the main roster. Okay? Alright? And he didn't because of the fact that he wanted to go to NXT himself. No one else. Himself. Like he wanted to go to NXT himself so he can learn the and when I say this, you gotta know where I'm going after this. Okay? But he wanted to go to NXT to learn their craft and see how they work. Alright? But you got people like David Finn, Kevin Knight, um, David Fincher and then Kevin Knight, all right, in particular, who didn't want to go to NXT because they thought they was bigger than that. Now, David Knight, he's doing good for himself. He's the current now. Right now he is. Now, tonight he probably will lose to MJF, but right now he's the current TNT AEW champion. Right, right. That's what he is. Right, and he's had, and then before that he won the trios championships twice. Right, so he's been doing good for himself. Right, like he has. Right, but you got some other people like David Finn and the Dogs who ain't do shit. Matter of fact, they job more than they win. Even though I can tell you that they won the trios titles for a cup of coffee because they won them, and the very next day they lost them. Okay, all right, and now they can't win them back because they're not in the trio team no more right now because Gabe Keith got hurt. But I say that to say this. Alright, not everybody's gonna shit on NXT and think it's beneath them. Some people are, you know. And then you got people who just they fumbled the ball with them. I can't believe they wanted him to go to NXT. And even though Evil it was his request to go to NXT. No one else's. It was his request to go to NXT. You still had people down. You still had people down there last night on Twitter or on Twitter saying, "I can't believe they sent him there." No, they didn't send him there because they wanted to send him there. They sent him there because he wanted to go there. There's a difference. Right? And then you got people saying, "Oh, why so many people debuting?" Because they got to see what's going to stick in WWE right now. All right? Because again, they lost a lot. They lost a lot of people last night. And that last night, like in the matter of 2 weeks, they've lost a lot of people on their main roster. Hold on. They lost a lot of people who got called up to the main roster. So much that is noticeable. So much that they had to mention it last night about it. You know, you had Robert Stone, you had Shawn Michaels, and you had Matt something. I forgot his name. He's a trainer there. Like he's Triple H's not Triple H's. He's Shawn Michaels' right hand man. He's the reason why Mandy Rose got fired in the first place. Alright? Because he's a snitch. But he was there too last night. And usually you don't see him on TV. Like you really like you usually see him when they show the training stuff, he's there. That's when you see him usually. You know, but he was there. And they mentioned who all got called up. Right? And now, some of these debuts are people who were hurt and came back. Now, I know I mentioned this before about who's a veteran and everything. But you know, I left somebody out. Jada Parker. Now, Ryan said this a couple episodes ago. That Jada Parker, she's a vet now, and now she got to be treated. And now she got to be treated, and now she has to be treated like a vet too, because the fact that almost anybody that come up to her, besides Lola Vice, what's her name? She had a mess last night. But Lola Vice, what's her name? Damn it, what's her name? Izzy. She's from like Hayes' fiance, right? Like these females are veterans too, you know. But almost anybody else, like if you don't watch the other stuff like the other development shows, you don't know who they are, right? And they're still considered uh, rookies, because you don't know them, you don't know them, and they haven't been on NXT that much either. So that's why you don't know them, right? But and then you have people who they can damn near just say they fans. You know, so many people debuted last night that one of the guys, they portrayed him to be a fan. And it was this big UK guy, and I know this because of the fact that I found out that day who he was. So you know, they just throwing stuff out there to see what stick right now. You know, and it's not a bad idea. It's not, because here's the thing. At one point, we didn't know who certain people were in the first. Like Trick, we didn't know Trick was around back in the day, like we do now. Like think about it. Like Trick was one of what's his name? Apollo's soldiers. When Apollo was changed his gimmick and he was a heel and everything, he was one of Apollo's soldiers back in the day. Okay, you know, and usually that's how that like how that starts off, because you know at one point Charlotte, um, who was it? It was Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky were Triple H's background masked people. You know, CM Punk was one of John Cena's Tommy gun guys. You know, for his interest at one point. So you know, sometimes we just don't know stuff. Sometimes, you know, like literally we don't know sometimes. You know, but you know, I say that to say this, that it's gonna be a process. Like it's gonna be a process, and then you know the what's I'm looking for? The call ups are gonna happen again, because some of the veterans that's been out there are gonna it's gonna hit again. You know, because yes, did they pluck them for a lot of people this time around? Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But now, Jada Parker can't stay down there that long. Easy can't stay down there that long. I believe Easy's gonna be champion eventually. I don't think she's gonna be champion now. You know, Lola Vice is still down there, and you know, so like eventually these chicks and some of the guys like Tony D will get caught up too, eventually. Right? You know, so like eventually all this is gonna happen, right? And then we're gonna get some more call ups in. So this is why they're trying to get everybody out there, and with these surprises and everything, to make it stick, man, to get new stars. AJ Styles was backstage last night, you know, because his job is to scout these people and to help them get ready for to get on NXT. That's his guy. That's his job. That's his goal right now, to do that. And there's nothing wrong with what he's doing either. You know, this is what he wanted to do. He knew, AJ knew back in the day, or no, not back in the day. AJ knew recently that certain things wasn't going to be for him. You know, being a producer in the back, didn't want to do that. It wasn't for him. He said, I forgot, like being in the office. He said that wasn't for him either. All right, but giving back to the future, he said that was for him. You know, you got Kevin Owens. We got Kevin Owens helping. You know, and he's saying the same thing. Well, right now, what he's saying is something different to KO. I mean, AJ saw it. Not something different, but kind of the same situation. Like he wants to give back, but it's different for KO. KO just misses wrestling. Okay, he's been out almost damn near 2 years, and he said it's driving him crazy right now, and that being ironic. So he's around right now, and he wants to give back, but he just misses wrestling, you know. But he also wants to give back to the future because he's giving advice, and he's helping. He's helping like he's a coach right now, you know. So even though AJ wanted to retire and he wanted to get back to the future, Kevin Owens is giving back to the future too. So that's what they got in common right now, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with giving back to the future because of the fact that they see what they can do. Now, Kevin Owens is not taking no bumps right now. He's just helping out the young talent and everything, you know, which is good. I get to see him on TV. Not how I want to see him on TV, but you know, because I want to see him wrestle. I want to see him back on the main roster. I do, but I know the process of his neck is first priority. You know, um, what else did I hear? What else have I heard recently about NXT? NXT was, it wasn't the best NXT, you know that, but it was a good NXT. You know, because you got to see new people, and like I said, I still haven't seen Nikki Blackheart yet. You know, so when I see her, I'd be happy because then I can see her more often in the ring. You know, and just see her in general. But I'm looking forward to see the new stars of NXT. Now, one thing I don't want to see is Jada Parker's job to the new talent. Now, you know, Nikki, she jobbed, right? Last night. I don't want that to be Jada Parker. Because what I read was Jada Parker is supposed to be one of the new faces of NXT. And I'm cool with that. Even though she should have been a face of NXT a couple times. Now, some would say the reason that's not happening is who she's dating. Which shouldn't be a problem, you know. To me, it shouldn't be a problem, but it's a problem to other people because of the fact that they feel like if she gets pushed to a certain level, it's because who she's dating. You know, it's just not cool to even think that, but that's what people think. You know, and sometimes you can't take people's minds about that kind of shit. You know, but I'm looking forward to see what happens. Cause you got Armstrong, she was there, and Kendall Graves, which she started off on LGF the other day, and they seen one match with her, and they called her up to NXT. And she's good. She's real good. I mean, she's so good. She didn't win, but she helped main event with Lola Vice and Jade. Oh, yeah, Jade and and her. You know, so she's real good. You know, I knew she wasn't going to win the title because of the fact that she got time for that. She has time for that. But you know, I enjoyed what was did last night because I knew there was gonna be some debuts last night. And I knew it was gonna be kind of hectic and crazy, but it was good. It was a good show. It wasn't the best NXT show, but it was a good show. You know, and I think everybody besides Lola Vice, who was the champ, got beat down by new talent. So even Tony got beat down by new talent. Maxine Dupree boyfriend or fiance or husband debuted on NXT last night. So now a lot of these people got to sink and swim. And that's the truth. A lot of them got to sink and swim, because now you've been hitting and training for the last 2 years. It's time to see what's going to stick. Same thing with the veterans that I too. Because the fact that you've been there and now you're the main focus. You gotta see if you can uh, do something. Because before you were just a side piece. Now you're the main talent. That's what comes with being a veteran. But you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens after that. But I'm gonna end the show with that. Make sure you got like, subscribe, share. Make sure you got watch wrestling. Make sure you got watch E-Feds, New Breed. We just had an episode drop yesterday. So make sure you guys check that out. This is the Hired Gun Podcast with the Hired Gun. God bless. Love y'all. I'm out.